Something big happens, something that should knock the air out of you, and you handle it. You stay calm. You say the right things. You take care of everyone else. People watch you and think, look how well they're holding up. So strong, so composed. And you believe it too, for a while. You think maybe you're fine. And then, 3 days later, you're doing something ordinary. Washing a cup, driving home, and it hits you. All of it. At once. Out of nowhere. And far too late. You didn't skip the feeling. You just got it in the mail. Days after everyone else. This is a strange way to live. And almost no one talks about it. You're always a step behind your own feelings. The breakup ends, and you feel nothing. Until next week, when you fall apart over a song. Someone hurts you, and you smile and move on. Until 2 a.m, when the anger finally shows up, uninvited. You react late to everything. Joy, grief, anger, love. All of it arrives on a delay. And by the time you actually feel it, the moment is gone. The people are gone. You're left feeling it alone, in a quiet room, long after it would have made sense to anyone else. Here's the closest thing to how it works. Imagine your feelings don't reach you directly. They come by mail. When something happens, the feeling doesn't land in your chest right away. It gets sealed in an envelope and sent. And the mail is always late. So in the big moment, the news, the goodbye, the fight, your hands are empty. There's nothing to feel yet. You stand there calm because the letter simply hasn't arrived. It's not that you don't care. It's that the feeling is still in transit, on its way to a version of you that's already alone.
So you do what you've always done. The moment hits, a sealed envelope is pressed into your hands, and you can't open it. Not here, not now, not in front of everyone. So you tuck it into your coat. You keep functioning. You handle the logistics, comfort the others, answer the questions. And the whole time, the envelope sits against your chest, unopened, waiting. You can feel its weight. You just can't read it yet. By the end of the day, there are several. By the end of a hard week, your coat is heavy with letters you never had a safe moment to open. And here's where it quietly hurts you. Because you're calm in the moment, everyone reads it wrong. They think you're handling it. They think you don't need much. Some of them even think you don't care that deeply, that it didn't really touch you. So they don't check on you. They don't sit with you. They move on because you gave them every signal that you were fine. And you let them because in that moment, you genuinely felt fine. The cruel part is, the comfort everyone would have gladly given arrives nowhere because you needed it later, in private, where no one could see. Think about what that means. The moment you're surrounded by people, at the hospital, the funeral, the breakup, the bad news, is the exact moment you feel the least. And the moment you finally feel everything, alone, at night, days later, is the exact moment no one is there. your support, and your pain are never in the same room at the same time. They keep missing each other. People offered to be there. You said you were okay. And you were. Then. You just didn't know the bill for that calm would come due at 3 a.m. with no one awake to answer. Because that's when the mail finally arrives. Late at night, when it's quiet, when you're finally safe and alone, that's when all the envelopes come at once. They slide under the door, dozens of them, the whole week's worth. And one by one, then all together, they tear themselves open. The grief you didn't feel, the anger you swallowed, the fear you set aside to be strong. It floods the room, and you sit in the middle of it, blindsided by feelings that are technically old news. Everyone else processed this days ago. You're only getting the letter now. So you grieve out of sync with the world. Everyone has moved on, and you're just now feeling the thing they felt last week. You can't even bring it up. It feels too late, like you missed your turn to be sad. So you carry it quietly, privately, on your own clock. You're the person who seems to recover fast and then disappears for a while. The one who's strangely calm at the crisis and strangely fragile weeks later for no reason. But there's always a reason. You're not unstable. You're just running on a delay no one else can see. Here's what you've had backwards your whole life. You thought the delay meant you felt too little. It's the opposite. The feeling is so big that letting it in all at once, in real time, would have flattened you. So your mind learned to slow it down, to hold it at the door. The numbness was never an empty room. It was a dam, holding back a flood you didn't have room for yet. And dams get built for a reason. Somewhere back there, feeling things in real time wasn't safe. Maybe when you were young, there was no room for your reaction. Someone else's emotions filled the whole house, and yours had to wait. Maybe falling apart in the moment got you punished, or ignored, or made you a burden. So you learned a quiet trick. Feel it later, when it's safe, when you're alone, when it can't cost you anything. It was brilliant, honestly. It kept you upright through things that should have broken you. But the child who learned to delay is now an adult who can't feel anything on time. And living behind a dam has a cost. You spend an enormous amount of energy holding the water back, energy you can't even feel yourself spending. It's why you're so tired after handling things so well. Holding back a flood looks like calm from the outside, but inside, it's the hardest work there is. And dams don't hold forever. They release on their own schedule. At night, in the car, in the shower, triggered by something small and unrelated. A song, a smell, a stranger's kindness. And suddenly, you're crying about something that happened years ago, and you can't explain why now. Here's the contradiction at the center of all this. You look the most okay at the exact moment you are least okay. Your calm is loudest when you're drowning. The steadier your voice, the more carefully you're holding something that's about to break. And the people around you have learned the opposite lesson, that your composure means you're fine. So the better you cope, the more alone you become in it. The very skill that's supposed to protect you is the thing that makes sure no one arrives in time. You've quietly trained the world to leave you alone in exactly the moments you'll need them most. Just later. So why not just feel it in the moment? Why not open the letter while people are still here? Because opening it in real time means being seen mid-feeling, unguarded, shaking, not composed. It means letting someone watch the flood instead of the dam. And some old part of you is certain that the flood is too much. That if people saw you fall apart in real time, they'd back away. So you wait. You smile now and break later. You keep the performance clean and save the truth for an empty room. And you call it protecting them. But really, you're protecting the fear that the real you is too much to witness. But here's something gentle and true. The people who love you don't want the clean version. They don't want to find out 3 weeks later that you were quietly drowning while they stood right next to you. It hurts them more to be kept out than to see you cry. The thing you think will scare them away, your grief in real time, unedited, is the exact thing that would have let them in. They didn't want the composed stranger at the funeral. They wanted you. Messy, late, shaking, but there, with them, while it was still happening. I'm not going to tell you to feel everything in real time. You can't tear down a dam you spent your whole life building. And you shouldn't have to. But you can let one letter open a little sooner. The next time something lands and you feel that familiar calm settle in, the smooth voice, the empty hands, just try saying 4 words out loud to one safe person. Actually, that really hurt. You don't have to fall apart. You don't have to explain. Just let one true feeling arrive while someone is still in the room. That's the whole beginning. Not the flood. Just one letter opened on time. So, if you've spent your life being called cold, distant, hard to read, if you've quietly wondered whether something in you is broken because you feel everything a beat too late, I want you to hear this. You were never cold. You were never empty. You were a person who feels so deeply that you had to teach yourself to feel in private, on a delay, where it couldn't destroy you. That wasn't damage. That was survival. But you're allowed to come off the delay now. You're allowed to feel it while it's happening, and to not open every letter alone. You were always feeling it. You were just doing it where no one could hold you. And that part can change.